Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the GeoGuessr World Cup. Today, we're looking at the final week of the group stages. As always, I'm Carp, and I'm joined by Paschtetli. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. It's a bit hot out here, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, it's hot everywhere, it seems. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, hopefully you're inside a nice air-conditioned space um, while we
more or
take a
less,
look at
yeah.
these. Yeah. So this week, our players competed in Botswana. We did look at the map at the end of the last show, but we'll go over it again. Um, like with all of these maps, 5,000 locations, just under 90 plays, and a fairly low average score, less than 10,000. And as has been the case with all the maps so far, Diesel does have the highest score of 22,665, although I don't know if that has changed since.
I can check if you want.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, well, Botswana is not an easy country, definitely not. It has its long straight roads, and that makes it hard to pinpoint and stuff. But we had some decent scores and also some, yeah, disappointments.
Mhm.
Some missed games and some surprises, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. So correction. Woolmouse actually has the highest score on the map with 24,198. Um, Actually the top for all players from the World Cup, as you'd expect. But yeah. Um, so yeah, that's
Yes.
there we have that. Today we're going to be looking at just one player's game, and that is Le Brigand, who is representing Italy. And yeah, we're going to take a look at all 5 rounds from his perspective.
His opponent, by the way, was Jack from Austria.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, okay. Yeah. There he is in the round. Hopefully, the internet decides to load in the round. We have the name of it down, Mohembo. Uh,
Yes.
so hopefully that's gonna
Um,
help.
for some people, that actually was enough information because this name is like if you know Botswana and you're likely to come across it because it's one of the border towns.
Okay. It does look
Yes.
like Lebregon might have recognized that name because he did zoom in to the map to take a look. Although maybe he's slightly forgotten where this might be.
Maybe,
And
or what also could be is that me thinking, yeah, but Botswanan towns are most of the time findable because there are not too many,
mm-hmm,
and um, maybe he hoped that he'll stumble upon it.
yeah, and as you can see, the moving bug is still torturing our players. Uh, it's
Damn you, Google.
mm-hmm,
Well,
yeah, it's a long straight road. This
yeah,
is
that's
pretty much
basically
all
it.
of Botswana, and okay, it's not straight, it's curving, but it's still a long road with not many features along it.
Yeah,
So,
with some practice, maybe there could uh, maybe you could make a landscape guess, but I
hmm,
didn't practice, so I couldn't do that.
yeah,
Um, and uh, solely judged by the times of other players, it seems like landscape or just knowing the town name Mohembo um, was enough for some.
hmm, yeah. Oh, we do have some houses here, although of course they probably won't help all too much. But yeah, I think Botswana is the kind of country where if you're in the middle of nowhere, any sign you get is going to be it. You're not going to find too much more to work off of.
Yes, it's pretty remote.
Hmm. Yeah, so it looks
He's
like
not cool. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it looks like Leprechaun might not know that this is the border town. But yeah,
Yeah, it seems like, yeah.
mhm. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, more or less the same as you just said.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's struggling and he's not quite looking at the same in the right area. Maybe he's misjudging the landscape, or I'm not sure.
Mm. I actually
But as
haven't
the
played the
timer runs
seed.
out,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't actually
it's
know
been a
where
while
this
for me
location
as
is.
well.
Okay, yeah, so northwest, um,
Yes.
near the border with Namibia. Oh, I should have paused it there. Uh, we get a bit of a sneak peek at the
Well,
next round. But yeah.
well, his opponent Jack scored better than him there. Jack has now an advantage of almost 5,000 points, so that'll
Yeah,
be probably tough to recover from.
for sure. Yeah, that's just 11 points for LeBron. Yeah, two digits versus Jack, four, I guess. So yeah, definitely an uphill battle. Although if Jack had a similar round to this one, you could see LeBron maybe getting back into the game. But
Yes,
yeah, we'll have
definitely possible.
we'll have to see about that. Um, yeah, yeah. You can see he scrolled down, saw Jack score. It was at the top, and he went straight into the next round. Uh,
Yes.
And once again,
This round doesn't look too different from the other one.
yeah, I feel like it. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's different. I think it's just that this road is a little like there's no road markings or anything, unlike the last road, and um, this one maybe the trees are a little denser. Although
There were
I'm grasping at straws right now.
did you say there weren't the road markings on the last round?
There were road markings on the road, and
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
here, oh, okay, I can see some markings now, but like the road definitely
Yeah,
seems of
okay.
worse quality, I guess.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a like a less important road
Yeah, yeah.
or
As we saw, the last one was like a border road, so it's probably a little more important. Um,
yeah, well, but it doesn't lead anywhere with
hmm.
great like doesn't lead to a capital of another or to a big town of another country, so I'm not sure about that.
Mm.
Like it's going in the direction of the Namibian panhandle and there's
Oh,
literally nothing up there.
the Namibian Panhandle is such a weird place. Uh,
Yeah, and it seems to be quite beautiful up there as well,
hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
A friend of mine visited there and showed me
Oh.
some pictures.
Hmm. Okay, so yeah, Leprechaun doesn't seem like he wants to actually keep traveling in a direction to find something. I think he's gonna go off of the road direction, maybe a bit of landscape guesser. Um, I don't know how much he
Yes.
practices for these, but um, and I actually
Yeah,
don't know where the location is.
at this point, Jack and Le Brigand both were already qualified for the playoffs.
Hmm.
They both had 6 points, and the
Ah.
others 1 or 0. I'm not sure. But
Mm-hmm.
so this match didn't really matter at all.
Ah.
So I don't think he practiced that much, but he's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he still yeah tried to get a decent score
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And he is a
Maybe
good player, so you know he's not going in completely blind. Just like this is my first time playing in Botswana, and let's see how I do.
yeah
Okay, he found a
yeah.
road that's long and straight, and it is in the same direction. I I don't know if that means the right road, but well,
It is.
it does seem to be, and he wasn't that far. 17 kilometers, 4,000 points, and yeah, shaking the map in glory there. I'm sure
Uh,
he'll be happy with that.
yeah, Jack missed that one. He got only 780 points.
Oh.
So Jack is still in the lead, yeah, with about
About uh,
um 900 points, maybe.
I think it's like
Yeah.
1700.
Oh, apologies for my bad math.
Okay.
Um,
I
well,
I'm not sure, but yeah, there's something like that. Jack still has the lead, but Leprechaun has closed in immensely just now. Um,
yes.
with that guess. Really good guess on his part. Let's take a look at how round three is going to treat him, and there's some signs. That's well, pardon the pun, a good sign.
That I believe is the second easiest round of the seed. These two were the hardest we had.
Okay.
Um, with the last one being the hardest, a lot of people struggled on that.
Mm.
Um, and the first one we had, yeah, like I said, it was recognizable with Mohembe. This one is doable because there, I believe there was a town name on the sign, and it was kind of blurry.
Hmm.
Not sure.
Yeah, a lot of these signs were definitely like either blurry or faded a bit, um, which can make it difficult to read them. I think there was the name of a school on one sign. Maybe that's the one you're talking about, but he's going back into the area around Mohembo. Maybe thinking it's on that road. Although
Yeah, I can see the place right now on the map.
oh,
There we go.
Shirobe. Okay, yeah,
Yes, that's it.
yeah. There, Shirobe. So yeah,
Yes,
that's. I mean, we're looking at probably 4900 plus on this. Uh,
quite possible. Yeah.
yeah. The road direction just check out, and there's a primary school that he saw. Um,
Pinpointing is of course a whole other thing.
yeah.
Which roads are on the map, which aren't.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so on.
Yeah.
But he still has
Hmm.
over more than 1 minute time, so I believe
Oh,
it could be doable. Oh,
but
and
but
he
he
guessed.
guesses right there 171 meters and 4990 points. So only 10 points
Yeah,
dropped. How'd Jack do?
uh, and Jack got 30 points less than Rodrigo,
Mm,
so he's 30 points closer again, which doesn't change much, but yeah, it's still something. Like it's the the gap is closing, which is a good thing for Rodrigo, of course.
yeah, yeah. He's slowly inching towards Jack. But yeah, he's gonna need some gains like round two to maybe get in contention for a win.
Yes,
Um,
and like I said, since the two hardest rounds are in the past now, we'll see if that's possible.
mhm. Yeah,
Maybe someone jokes on one of the other round. We'll see.
yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah, he's looking down there. Jack on 10,733. And yeah, so about 1,700 points separate them. Uh,
Yes, that's correct.
this does look like it's probably a bigger highway. And there's a landmark, uh, which could help.
And a bigger or better sign, a green one,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he didn't check that yet.
I think he's trying to take in all the other information before he goes to that sign because that sign probably gives him all the remaining information. So he might be trying to just pick up the information from these signs before stopping by the green one.
Possible. Mopipi seems to be like the town we're close to.
Motopi? Yeah. And he's found
Mopipi,
it. So
Motopi,
yeah.
whatever.
Hmm. So yeah, he's found that town. Oh, Mopipi. So that's
That's not it.
slightly different. Um, he thought he found it, but
Ah,
he's found
there
it
we
now.
go.
Yeah, very well done. Uh, you can't really see the town, to be honest.
No,
Uh,
it's quite a bit
mhm.
further north.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, you can see it's a fairly distinctive junction, uh, and we're basically where the road like converges again, so it's probably not going to be too hard. And yeah, 5K right there, and as we can see, Jack gets a 5K as well.
Yes, Jack was 6 meters closer, but that doesn't really matter. Then
Mm-hmm.
both took about 1 minute 30, so that was a pretty equal round, I'd say. Certainly the easiest one of the seed, with plenty of information close to the start.
Yeah. And now going into the final round. Uh, yeah, this is what's gonna make or break it for Little John, because if Jack messes up on this one, Little John will have a good chance
Yes.
of going ahead. But it all depends on Jack really at this point, and of course Little John actually
Yeah,
getting a good score. But yeah,
yeah, of course.
okay, we're in the town.
Yeah, nice change for once. For once in some sort of urban area.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably as urban as it gets if you're not in Francistown or Gaborone.
Yeah, I I I think this is probably not the best sign for Lobegron, because it means Jack will probably also have information to get this. But he's
Yeah,
probably a bit thankful that it isn't like Francistown or Gaborone, because I think you'd get enough clues there to get a 5K easily, whereas over here, you still need to find the right signs to figure out what
yeah,
town this is.
and of course pinpointing as
Yeah.
always.
hmm but yeah, with 1,700 points between them, it's really going to come down to Mac. Sorry, not Mac. Jack missing it completely. Um, uh, Rather than it just being a pinpointing um, game. Uh, okay. Lebrion's looking south of Gaborone, or he's gone for the edge of
With
Gaborone, which is interesting.
yeah, it's not right and not completely wrong. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Again, I have no clue where this round is. For all I know, he's on the opposite end of the country or something. Uh, but yeah, I mean, given that it's a lot more densely populated compared to the previous rounds, and granted, the bar isn't very high to begin with, um, but yeah, it does seem to be probably near one of the bigger towns.
And it
And
said on the sign Kanye, which
Kanye,
is one of the biggest
yes, yeah,
towns in Botswana.
mm-hmm, uh,
There we go.
mm-hmm, and he's found it. So yeah, now comes the pinpointing game, but he's really gonna hope that Jack didn't find the signs telling us that we're in Kanye. Also, like most of these towns, you have a lot of unnamed roads, so it's gonna be pretty difficult to figure out which exact one we're
Yes.
near. But he has found Mabugo Dinku, which is the store we were near. So
And there is one road coming off to the east. The question
yeah,
is if it's on the map as always,
if it's on the
and if
map
it's
and
gonna
if
be
it
the
can
right
be,
one.
and if you can like find it easily, because
Yes.
as you can see, like where his foot has been right now, there's two different unnamed roads, and yeah, he just guesses. Probably realizes the pinpointing isn't going to matter too much. But yeah.
And the time ran out. The time ran
Oh,
out.
the time ran out.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
never mind then.
Same thing happened with Jack. He guessed about the same distance north of the location, and got
Okay.
also 4997. So
Uh,
yeah, Jack won this one.
yeah, as you can see, Jack gets 20,730 points. Lebegon gets 19,077. So yeah, about that gap hasn't shrunk a whole lot. Um,
Yes.
yeah. Uh,
But yeah, as I said,
mhm.
it doesn't really matter. Both are gonna get through anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably the least competitive game, or like the game with the least stakes this week.
Mm-hmm.
We had, but it's one of the only recordings I got. So yeah, well,
Yeah.
it was still nice to watch him find a couple of these locations, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got a good overview of the feed that all our players had to go through. But yeah,
correct.
let's now take a look at the results. In Group A, we had the opposite flags going up against each other, and Ollie comes out on top. Maybe a bit of a surprise, given that Giovanni won both his matches before this. But yeah, Ollie picks up a win
Yes.
by just under 3,000 points.
Yeah, definitely a surprise. Yeah, and Giovanni was also one of the players that were almost guaranteed to be qualified. So yeah, Oli picking up a win. We'll see if it will be close enough to get a spot because now Giovanni and Oli are both on 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And total score comes in for tiebreaker, and we'll see in just a minute who's gonna take the spot.
Mm-hmm. And Sheldon picked up a win against our No by about 5,000 points. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that was probably expected.
mm-hmm.
And Sheldon takes the first spot, I believe, with this
We'll have to
performance.
see.
Yes, yes, and and yeah, and I don't know, had not didn't score any points so far, so he probably didn't try that hard, and yeah, Sheldon with a pretty nice score got the win there.
Yeah. Next up in Group B, we have Paulinho picking up a win against Hugo by about 2,800 points, and Calamity picks up a win against Renata by almost 5,000 points there.
Yeah, the equal group, I'm gonna call it.
Mm-hmm.
Also with a third prize, Paulinho picks up a win against Hugo. And but it wasn't enough for him as he was behind before, and Renata losing against Calamity was probably a bit expected. Calamity with a nice good score of almost 20k,
Mm-hmm.
um, picking up a win there.
Yeah. Next up, Group C. As we saw, Leprechaun lost to Jack. And in the other match of the division, Sepkirs put up 90,700 points or so, but his opponent Eddie didn't play. So Sepkirs gets a win there, yeah, despite putting up a really good score, which
Yeah,
didn't end up matching in the end.
yeah, indeed, yeah. That I understand that he didn't try and play this one because yeah, uh, even a 25k wouldn't have been close to enough for getting a qualification spot. So yeah, I'll excuse that one. But yeah, still very nice to see that Sepp Kirst got a nice score without any pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next up in Group D, we have Woolmouse, who currently has the highest score on the Botswana map, but couldn't pull off a score like that in his actual game. He loses to Tall Impala by 7,500 points. And meanwhile, Lominute picks up a win against Mackham by 2,000.
Yes, Mackham losing against Lobnit was probably a bit of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
At least to me it was, and that yeah, and that makes the fight in this group even closer. And Wilma's yeah expected probably to lose against Toll, and Toll got I believe the second highest score this week, if
Uh,
I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna check that real quick. Let's see. Group stage is week 3, and let's just sort all these. Uh, Forgive us while we are getting this real quick. Yeah, Troll have the second highest score in the division. Sorry, not in the division, in the of everyone, of everyone.
Yeah, for everyone.
of the week. Yeah.
Yes,
And that pretty much seals his spot in the playoffs. Uh,
correct.
move,
Yeah.
Moving on to Group E, we have DJ picking up a fairly surprising win against Diesel. A really close game though, about 120 points. So actually, not even 120 points. So Diesel just needed like maybe 10, 15 points, I think.
Yeah.
To 13 points to pick up a draw. But unfortunately, that did not happen. DJ picks up the win. And meanwhile, Valbites and Dustin did not have a good time in Botswana at all. Probably the
Well,
lowest scores in the division. No,
yeah,
not in the
the low
division. I
scores.
keep saying the division. The week.
Yeah. Um, that's that they didn't really have a rough time, to be fair. Last time, as always, clicked through the locations with about spending a total amount of 30 seconds. And Valbites saw his performance after the two games, and which after the first two rounds, and yeah, did decently well there, and saw that he saw Duskden score and just clicked through the next ones as well. So that's understandable. He got the win there,
Mhm.
which was definitely deserved, but with maybe not that much with his effort. No,
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
but
yeah, it's still a
mhm.
good job,
Yeah, a bit of a low effort win there for Valbites, but a win nonetheless. Uh,
indeed.
Next up, Boxer picked up a win against Max, who I'm gonna assume he just saw he was playing against Boxer and decided not to play in fear. That's what I choose to believe. Uh, but yeah, Boxer picked up the third highest score of the week, and it didn't matter in the end. Um, Meanwhile, Shumi picks up a win against Jena. Um,
Yes.
by what's that, 3,000 points? Yeah.
About, yeah. It's always a pain to see that you practice and got a good score, a good performance, and then you see your opponent didn't play at all, and you would have gotten the win with about 1,000 points, no, with 1 point, but no, not 1 point, 101 points. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. It
101.
would have been a draw. uh, a sad one, but it would have been one. But yeah. Um, Boxer needed that win because this group wasn't decided at all after 2 weeks, and I think everyone's on 3 or 4 points, or two and four and 2 and 3, something like that.
Yeah, 3 and 4.
So yeah, yeah, and a win doesn't matter which way. Is always nice. And Shumi winning against Shoneriso. Yeah, same thing as with Boxer. A win is always nice. And a bit sad for Schön that he still put up a great fight, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Next up in Group G, we have Nink pulling off a win against Eamon by 9,000 points. Probably one of the bigger wins this week, not including the people who missed. Um,
Yes.
and Mr. Blue picks up a win against fellow Dutchman Henk-Jan by 5,000 points, and Mr. Blue picks up the highest score of the week, the only one making it into the 24Ks, let alone the 24 nines.
Yes, correct. Ning surprises me at least with a really good performance, and yeah, Iman probably as expected, not doing too well. Henkian also put up a fight, but against the Dutchman, Mr. Blue, uh, he had not that big of a chance, and just missed out on the playoff spot, as we will see in just a second.
Yeah. And finally, in Group H, Lopez picks up a win against Drew, who missed his game this week. So yeah, Lopez was not probably not the best score in the of the week. He's in like the bottom 10, I believe. He does pick up a win. And meanwhile, Lord Pepsi picks up a very easy win against Devons. I think this might actually be the highest score differential of the week.
Yes, that should be true.
Yeah, about 15,000 points separate the two of them.
Yeah, Drew messaged me just right after the deadline, like an hour or so, if you could still play, and I was pretty strict because I messaged him like a couple of times before that he's got to play his seed, and he didn't say anything, and yeah, I felt like it would have been unfair to Floppers if Floppers would get eliminated like this by an exception. And so yeah, I didn't count his score. He still played or just clicked through the challenge. And yeah, Flop is glad about this, I think. He's happy to get this win. And Devon's just like Dusk then also just clicked through the challenge. And Pepsi with I believe the fourth highest score, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
that is correct.
With which is very nice to see. Um, yeah, good job to him. And by the way, the average was 16,206 points this week, and the median was 19,303 points. A bit lower than last week, as expected. Jordan is a much easier country than Botswana, but yeah, we had still some great performances, unlike Peru.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, here are the standings as they turned out at the end of the group stages. In Group A, Sheldon and Giovanni take the top spots. In Group B, Calamity and Hugo. Uh, Also, I should mention Ollie didn't is only losing out based on total score by about 9,000 points there. Um, yeah. In Group C, Jack takes the top spot with Leprechaun right behind. And in Group D, Tall and Paula takes the top spot with Lominique behind him. Jack and Tall both picked up 9 points, so just wins each week.
Yes. I think there weren't many who will win every week, but many players, but there were a couple. I believe
Mm-hmm.
5 or so. We will see.
Yeah.
Oh, 4. We will see in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Macam got the higher total score than Lominique, which is a bit annoying, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
at bad luck in matchups. But yes, it is how it is, and Tall and Lominique are probably glad to get um, qualified or the playoff spot.
Yeah. And yeah, as you can see, Leprechaun and Jack they're a matched matcher. As we mentioned earlier. But yeah, they are both in the playoff spots. So yeah, there they are. Over here, in Group E, Valbite and DJ take the top spots. Diesel just 1 point behind. So yeah, that loss really it must hurt a bit, I guess. But yeah, Valbite picks up 9 points, wins each week. In Group F, Boxer and Shumi take the top spots. Jean just 1 point behind despite having a much higher total score. I believe Shumi also missed a week, which yeah
Yes.
mm-hmm, a bit unfortunate for Jean. And yeah, a Boxer picks up the top spot with 2 wins and a bonus point 1 week. Um, Down in Group G, Mr. Blue won each week and tops the group with Ning just behind. Again, Henkion having a higher total score but still missing out. And finally, Flopez picked up wins each week uh, and tops the group with Lord Pepsi just behind.
Yeah. Well, Bites was probably the complete opposite of Henkian, or who was it in the other on the other slide?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, Wild Bites had the lowest or the third lowest. No, second lowest. Sorry,
Second lowest, yeah.
total score of his group. And still got the first spot in this group. So he got lucky with his matchups as well as Shumi. In his group, Group F, Max and Shumi both missed one of the games, so that favored or at least made it easier for Shumi to get one of the spots. Schön had bad luck with matchups as well, which is
Yeah.
a thing when we're only playing 3 weeks. The matchups matter much more than if there's 10 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, Mr. Blue and Ning with a pretty decent performance, securing their spots and as well as Floppers and Larpepsi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, given that, here is how the players are going to start with the round of 16. And yeah, these are the matchups we've got. We have Sheldon going up against Lord Pepsi, Calamity against Ning, Lopez against Giovanni, Mr. Blue against Hugo, Tall Impala against DJ, Jack against Shumi, Valbite against Lominid, and Boxer against Le Brigand.
Any matches you look out for this week, or any matches that stand out to you?
I
Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think the three on the first three on the right column. So Calamity versus Ning, Mr. Blue versus Hugo, and Jack versus Shumi. The last one just because um I think I don't know if they've actually played each other in like the Reddit League or something, but it's going to
They
uh
didn't.
no, okay. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like that matchup's going to be really interesting to watch. And about the first two, I'm really interested to see what happens because um, you could definitely like out of these, all four of these players are really good, and only one of them can make it out of that sort of mini bracket. So yeah, we're gonna have to see one of we're gonna have to see three of them eliminated, and I have no idea who might um, come out on
Yeah,
top.
I'd say in the first one, I'd say Calamity is pretty or at least decently safe because Ning didn't do really well on the regional qualification in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see about that. And Calamity is very good at Kyrgyzstan, and if Ning doesn't practice that much, Calamity, I would say Calamity has an more or less easy game.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Blue and Hugo is certainly or probably going to be the closest game here. I have, as well as you, no idea who's going to win this. And
Mm-hmm.
for Jack and Chumi, yeah, Jack is, I believe, a Division 5 player in Reddit League, and Chumi a Division
Oh.
2 player. So,
I keep
so
thinking
yeah,
Jack is in a higher division.
yeah, me too. I think he got promoted now, but I'm not too sure
Mm-hmm.
about that. Um, I'd say Shumi has the advantage here. Boxa, Le Brigand, I know Le Brigand has his moments, so I'm looking forward to that as
Mm-hmm.
well as Waldbites and Lominid, because this is they did pretty well so far in this tournament, which is very nice to see, and um, I believe they're about equally skilled, and certainly not the best, not the best players in here, but about equally skilled, and I'm looking forward to the results of their game. And for Sheridan versus Lord Pepsi, um, this is also one of the matches that could go either way for me,
Yeah.
because I know Lord Pepsi is pretty well good with Montenegro, and Hong Kong is very practicable. Like, it's only a city or a bit more than a city, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's about that. And I'm not sure about Sheldon's skills in Montenegro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Volbites versus Lomini, maybe a bit of a surprise matchup in that we didn't maybe expect them to make it into the playoffs at the beginning of the group stages. But they're here, and yeah, we'll have to see how well they fare. Um, and they're almost, I feel like they're almost certain to face Tall Impala in the next stage. Um, I, I I don't know how much of a fight DJ can put up against Tall, but yeah, Tall and the same thing goes for Giovanni. Both of them very formidable opponents. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, meanwhile, Boxer versus Leprechaun, Boxer's probably the favorite here, but it's Germany versus Italy. We're gonna enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, it's the football derby, or not derby, but yeah, one of the games that are very famous in the Euros or World Cups in football and soccer. For those who don't know, maybe come from America. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious and looking forward to next week's results.
Yeah. Well, that is going to do it for this week. We're finally into the playoffs. So yeah, it's I think it's really going to come down to the wire in these next few games. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out. Um, as always, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back next week to look at how these playoffs go.
Yes, have a great one. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.